Welcome to Mike Cooley Radio. Let's get it, cause we gon' get it in. What's good, everybody? I hope everybody's having a blessed day. And like I always say, what I always say to you guys, stay what? Stay what? Stay what? Stay sucker free. That's right. Stay sucker free from these haters, because the haters is gonna hate. Let them hate. That should motivate. Like I always tell y'all, only God knows your dreams. Only God can put you in position to be great. Don't worry about what everybody else is talking about and talking down on you and stuff like that, or want something from you and you don't want to give it to them and things like that. And they hating because you're successful and they're not. Or if you're trying to be successful and they don't want you to be successful because they just want you to stay down and keep you knocked down. But nah, God don't work like that. God's going to be there for you as long as you're there for yourself. Yeah, God's going to be there for you as long as you're there for yourself. Motivate yourself, invest in yourself, love yourself, and come up with a plan. And let the haters know that, hey, you can hate, but all you're doing is motivate. And me to do more and more for myself. And that's what you want. Don't never let them bring you down, because you got God. When you put God first, anything is possible, all right? Please follow Mike Cooley Radio right now. Please follow me right now. Push that follow button, all right? So you can listen to all my segments and the things that I will be telling you and giving you my point of views on what's going on in the industry and different things and different stories that's going on in the world. And you can listen, and I hope you guys are enjoying Mike Cooley Radio, all right? Actually, download also. Download. You can go ahead on and download. Download Mike Cooley Radio also. Tell a friend. Push it around, man, and hope you guys enjoyed it. Let them listen to it, to my podcasting, and hopefully everybody will like it. Follow me on iHeartRadio. Follow me on Spotify, Pandora, you name it. Apple Podcasting. I'm on all of that. Just put my name in, Mike Cooley Radio, and I will pop up. Also follow me on YouTube. Yes, I'm promoting my YouTube page because I have a lot of content on there, a lot of videos that's going to be coming out for podcasting, the audio for podcasting, all my audios, over 300 plus episodes, is all on there. You guys can go check out the podcasting and see the different subjects I talk about. Hopefully you guys enjoy those segments, and anything you want me to talk about, please let me know. And I will talk about it and give you the most detail that I can on it and the best of my knowledge on what's going on with any situation that's going on, all right? Follow me on social media, on Facebook and Instagram also. Just type my name in and follow me, and you'll be able to see everything I'm doing in the industry and everything, all right? Today we're going to be talking about a segment with Stephen A. Smith and LeBron James. Now, a while ago, Stephen A. Smith said some things about LeBron. Bronny James wasn't doing so well in the G League. He was struggling. I told you guys, if you go back and listen to my segments about Bronny James, I thought Bronny James was being criticized a little too hard. He was a 19-year-old kid, turning 20, just had a heart situation, a heart failure, cardio situation, and so it's hard to come back from that. And even I thought at the beginning he probably needed to at least do 1 year of college. Because he had that incident just to get him back up and running. But LeBron James had different plans. LeBron James put his son helped him get into the NBA, and stuff like that. But to be honest with you, Bronny really earned it. Bronny is not a scrub. Bronny is very talented, very gifted. He just started off slow and trying to, feel himself out as something new to him. There's grown men playing basketball. He's 19, going against grown men. And he had to figure it out, and now he's playing at a high level. He's playing great in the G League. He did some stuff in the regular season also, making 17 points on one of these games that he played. And so he's looking a lot better right now. And Stephen A. Smith said some things about LeBron, saying that as a father, that he shouldn't put Bronny in this situation, that he shouldn't put the pressure on him and have him in a situation where he should have went to college, or he should have did things like that, or put him in a position where, the pressure's on Bronny so much that that's not fair to Bronny that he has to go through that pressure. And as a father, he shouldn't be doing that. And I think, and when I heard that, I frowned at it. I said, oh man, I think LeBron ain't gonna like it. Any father that's been questioned about their success as a father to their son, they're gonna be offended. So that's what that was. And he felt, and I guess LeBron seen Stephen A. Smith at a basketball game, at the Lakers game, and confronted him and told him to stop talking about his son and everything. And he felt a certain way about it. So he had to address it to Stephen A. Smith, because we all know that LeBron gets criticized a lot, good and bad. And as a father, I think that's what triggered him when Stephen A. talked about the father stuff. I don't think it was more about that Bronny couldn't play basketball. I don't think it was offending because that's Stephen A.'s job. I think when he said that, he made him look like on television that he was a bad father for making that decision to help his son and to achieve his goals to get into the NBA. I feel that LeBron James is happy that his son is in the NBA. He accomplished a goal that he wanted to do for his son. He did that, and his youngest son, I think, is better than Bronny. That's just me. Bronny is a good player, but I think his youngest son, is even better. He's taller, and he's in college right now. He's going to college, so I think the young one is going to be something special also. But at the end of the day, what Stephen A. Smith said rubbed LeBron James wrong. I can see both point of views, what Stephen A. Smith is saying and LeBron James is saying. I see both point of view, but I think LeBron James felt like he took it too far when he started talking about him as a father. And I think that's where it all goes. So let me let you listen to what Stephen A. Smith got to say. I'm not going to let you listen to all of it because there's a lot that he's talking, and I want to let you listen to LeBron James also, how he felt about it, and then what Stephen A. Smith says at the end about the lying and stuff that he's saying that LeBron is saying. So let's listen to Stephen A. Smith for a few minutes, and then I'll get back with you guys with my last takes on this situation, all right? So here we go.
Now let's get to a subject that's apparently going viral on social media today, and it also involves yours truly. Last night I was in attendance at the Knicks-Lakers game. I was sitting courtside where during a timeout, I believe it was in the third quarter, I was confronted by none other than LeBron James himself. LeBron had some choice words for me in regards to comments I've made prior about him in regards to his son, Bronny James. Before I get any further, let me just put to bed a couple of things that have been reported that are false. People was talking about LeBron called me out my name, or somebody said he called me a bitch, somebody said he called me a punk, and all this. None of that is true. He was fiery. He approached me during the game, and he said, "Stop effing with my son. That's my effing son. Stop effing with my son." I said, "What? Nah, man, straight up, man to man. Real talk. Stop effing with my son." And I saw how furious he was. And I said, "We can talk about it later." "Nah, F that. Stop effing with my son. That's my son. I said, "All right, dog. Fine." And he walked away. That's all he said. I knew what he was talking about. I've spoken about this before. Matter of fact, I heard that not many, not all, but a few players were upset at me about that. I think one player in particular was Draymond Green, who I haven't spoken to since, and has no desire to speak to me primarily because of this, I suppose. And I found out the way that I found out, which was last night while I was at the game. I was a guest of Ari Emanuel, owner of William Morris Endeavor, founder of William Morris Endeavor, founder of Endeavor, before they merged with William Morris. And I was a guest of his, sitting at the game with him and Larry David from Curb Your Enthusiasm. I was sitting courtside, and the next thing you know, out of the blue, LeBron came in my face. Obviously, since he brought up his son, he was piggybacking off of what I had said weeks ago. And what I had said weeks ago is that when Bronny James was struggling, and I threw out some stats and stuff like that, and I said he's not ready. And then I came on this podcast and I reiterated that point. Clearly it was something that was on LeBron James' mind, that he was aching to confront me about. And so it happened the way that it happened. Now, before I get into anything else, let me say that LeBron's agent, who is Rich Paul, his boy, has my number. Maverick Carter, who's universally respected, and is a big player in the industry these days, he has my number. It's very easy.
All right, guys, hold on a minute. Give me a second here, guys. I'm going to give you guys more. So you're hearing Stephen A. Smith talking. He's giving you his point of view. I wonder what you guys are thinking right now. Very interesting, isn't it? Let's hear more from Stephen A. Smith on what happened between him and LeBron James that day, all right? I'm sorry about that. I want you guys to listen some more, so here we go. Give me 1 second here. Here we go.
It's very easy for one of them to have called me in to say, LeBron wants to see, he wants to talk to you face to face, man to man. That's not what happened. Last night at the Lakers game happened. Now I get, and people have said to me today that I'm looking pretty damn sad. I'll fess up, I am. Because something like that is not something that should make any of us comfortable. I didn't anticipate it. I don't know why I didn't anticipate it. But I'm not here to blame LeBron James. That wasn't a basketball player talking to me last night. That was a dad. He rolled up on me as a father. That's what he did. That was not a basketball player talking to me. We talk about LeBron James all the time. Practically everybody does. That's not what LeBron James does. So for him to confront me, obviously it was something that he was incredibly passionate about, put off about, and felt necessary to confront me about. And what better motivation could there be than to be protective of his son? I understand it. I respect it as a parent. I'm a father of 2 daughters. And in all honesty, I couldn't definitively tell you that if I were LeBron James, I would not have done the same thing. I would hope that I would not have. I would hope that I would have picked up the phone and called the person instead, or got arranged to see that person face to face instead, rather than walking up to me in the middle of a game, courtside. That was not the end of the game. That was not the beginning of the game. That was in the middle of the game that this happened. But that's what happened. And there's really not much you can do about it. I have a lot to say about it. But I wanted to address a couple of things. Number one, because I saw this tweet from Kevin Love. He was responding to my tweet. My tweet was, I had no intentions of talking about it. And the reason I had no intentions of talking about it is because that's what men do. You handle it privately if you can. I didn't want to address it. As I tweeted here, I wouldn't have either had it not gone viral. But it did go viral because when I got up, my social media person informed me that it was over 15 million views. And it had gone viral. It was number one. It was the number one sports story going. And regardless of everybody wanting to walk around acting like they don't have bosses, I don't deny the fact that I have bosses. I work for ESPN, and ESPN called me this morning and said, what you mean you ain't talking about it? You most certainly have to talk about it. This directly involves you. And LeBron James is the biggest story in the country right now in sports. There's no way for you to escape it. Talk about it. You got your platform. Do what you got to do. I said, fine. Well, when I tweeted out to let everybody know that I will be talking about it, Kevin Love, LeBron's former teammate in Cleveland, throws out this tweet. You have no choice, laugh out loud. Because it went viral, laugh out loud. You didn't want to have to, laugh out loud. You wouldn't have, laugh out loud. Hold that tweet up. Let's go over the list. And I like Kevin Love. I'm very fond of him. All right? I have nothing negative to say. I have no choice because of what I just told you about my bosses, Kevin. Because it went viral, Kevin, which I just explained. I didn't want to. Why would I want to? I take no pleasure in something like this, and I guess it's the implication that, and I wouldn't have, laugh out loud on all of those things. You see, stuff like that dilutes the seriousness of the discussion. So let me explain this to Kevin Love in simplest terms. First Take has been the #1 morning show for 13 consecutive years. And on this particular morning, it's the day after I was in the news for a lucrative contract extension. So if I said that I didn't have any intentions of doing it, I don't have to lie. And I'm not starving for ratings. And respectfully, Kevin, you should know that I mean what I say. I don't have to lie. So I'll just leave it at that. Outside of that, feel free to support your boy. Let me go back to me and LeBron James. Ladies and gentlemen, any alluding to Bronny James in this is either accidental or just a reference point to articulate me and LeBron James, because I'm not here to talk about Bronny James. Bronny James, by all accounts, is a wonderful kid who went into the G League, has been tearing it up, and I personally think is going to be an NBA player. You can't root against Bronny James. He's a great kid. I've never met anybody that said otherwise. Okay? And I'm genuinely rooting for him. Having said that, at the time that I was talking about him and his stats in the aftermath of the Philly game, that's when things have gone haywire, because that's when you start hearing that a few players don't want to talk to you, or folks felt you crossed the line or whatever. Here's what they thought I did that crossed the line. By pointing out how he was struggling, I wasn't really talking about Bronny James that much. He's a rookie. And I think that he'll just get better and better and be in the NBA. It wasn't really about him. It was about LeBron. And the reason why it was about LeBron was because the heat that Bronny was taking and the stories that were going viral, I was making the point he didn't have to be in this predicament. 3 things could have happened. He could have got drafted by Golden State. He could have got drafted by the Boston Celtics. Or he could have got drafted like he did by the Lakers. Opening night, have that moment with his dad, and then go to the G League and wreak havoc, wreck shop, and then come to the league after a year's experience in the G League. If any of those things did not happen, one surmised that it was because of LeBron James. In my mind, the second greatest player to have ever played the game of basketball, who was a basketball savant. And if we know that his son was struggling, then he knows. And what I was saying was, I was focused on him. It was other people that was focused on Bronny James. Show that Magic Johnson quote, please. This is Magic Johnson at the time. Jimmy Kimmel Live in September. If I'm Bronny, I would tell my dad, just let me play in the G League all season so that I can develop. He needs playing time. He doesn't need to be sitting on the Laker bench and not playing. That's not a knock against him. He's just not ready. That was Irving Magic Johnson. There were other articles that were written as the season was progressing and people were talking. And I'm rooting for the kid, and I didn't want anything too negative to come his way. So I'm looking at LeBron James and saying, all right, you had the moment. You don't need this. Because you remember, it's not just the LeBron's greatness that we're talking about that can be somewhat burdensome, because when you're a son of arguably the greatest player who has ever lived in a lot of people's eyes, the expectations for you come with that. But it wasn't even just that. It was the quotes that was associated with LeBron James. It was LeBron James that said his son was better than some NBA players. It was LeBron James that told folks, don't even think about it. You want to draft, he said, you want me draft my son. It ain't even about the money at this point. I'll go wherever he is for 1 year. It was LeBron that said those things. And so everybody knew that. And as a result, what I was saying was pointing out, this is what it is. And any kind of trouble he has, they're going to pounce on him because of the things his dad said. So the one thing that I'm thankful for last night is that when I was confronted by LeBron James about this subject matter, he didn't give me an opportunity to say what I know that I would have said. And that was this. I wasn't talking really about your son. I was talking about you.
All right, so guys, hold on here. So you guys heard what he said, okay? I'll give you a little bit more, and then I'm going to give you what LeBron say, all right? Because LeBron had a lot to say about this, and he went on the Pat McAfee show, and he talked about it on ESPN. And shout out to Pat McAfee and the ESPN crew and everything. They really put out good content. And we'll get on that in a few minutes. But let me give you a little bit more of what Stephen A. Smith has to say. Then I'll get back to you in a second. Here we go. Hope you guys enjoying.
Narratives ain't always created by the media. It's created by people the media covers. So you must know what they were saying at the time. Nobody's been talking about Bronny now. Not for months. But at the time they were. You must know. And I was saying, that's you. Because of all the things that you did to make things happen in a way that deviated from a relatively merit-based situation, which is the National Basketball Association. You're LeBron James. You are underpaid. You are LeBron James. You deserve more money than you're getting paid. You're LeBron James. I don't give a damn how much money they paid Bronny. He could get it. He should get it for you because, damn it, you should have gotten more because of what you've done for this league. You deserve all of this. But it's not going to stop him from getting that heat. And when LeBron came at me the way that he did, if it wasn't on camera, if he didn't instigate something that people are allowed to take viral, if he had spoken to me man to man privately, I still wouldn't have talked about it. I don't violate that trust. I don't have private conversations and then they go public. I don't have people talk to me off the record and then I come on air on the record. Y'all can talk all of that smack all y'all want to, whatever y'all naysay, whoever y'all naysayers are. But I got 30 years in this business. My track record is proven. I don't betray trust. I don't do that. If I have a conversation with you, it's between us. That's the way.
All right, so you heard what Stephen A. Smith had to say about that. All right. And then, I'm going to give you, like I said, man, this is crazy. And LeBron had some things he had to say about it. So let's listen to LeBron. And LeBron actually addresses the beef with Stephen A. Smith on the Pat McAfee show, which shocked me because, LeBron really don't come out and speak too much. So for LeBron to come out and speak on it, It's crazy. And so I want you guys to listen to LeBron James. Here he is. And let's hear what LeBron has to say about Stephen A. Smith and how he felt about the whole incident. All right, you guys ready? Here we go.
Which leads, obviously, to you and Stephen A. Hey, legit, that feels like a moment that had been brewing for a long time.
He's like on a Taylor Swift tour run right now.
Oh, yeah, we're watching it. Yeah. We're all,
Oh, yeah.
you're seeing it as well. It's,
He literally, it started off with, I didn't want to address it.
yeah, sure.
I didn't want to address it. I wasn't going to address it. But since the video came out, I feel the need to address it.
Yeah, we're viral. You would have been hot to talk about it.
Are you kidding me? If there's one person that couldn't wait to the video to drop so you could address it, it's your ass. Like, seriously, and like another, he completely, like, missed the whole point. The whole point. Never would I ever not allow people to talk about the sport, criticize players about what they do on the court. That is your job, to criticize or to, be in a position where, okay, if a guy's not performing, that is all part of the game. That's all part of the game. But when you take it and you get personal with it, it's my job to not only protect my damn household, but protect the players. And I think a lot of the media, including him, and I know he's gonna be happy as hell. He's gonna be smiling from ear to ear when he hears me talking about it. Oh my God, he's gonna get home and grab some ice cream out of the fucking freezer and sit in his chair and his tighty whities on the couch.
I hope at some point you two do get a chance.
Like relax, bro. Like relax. Like seriously, just.
Hold on. So you're hearing LeBron. So it's sounding interesting right now, right? I'm gonna give you some guys some more. Here he is. Sorry for the delay. Sometimes these commercial things come on, and I gotta make sure that you guys ain't getting those, okay? I'm being honest. Here we go. Let's listen to some more LeBron.
Bronny, your son, obviously had that inspiration in the home, and you talked about it since years ago, wanting to play long enough to play with your son. So you obviously visualized that. How was the real moment with that happening? Because I know me seeing it, seeing the Griffey's there, seeing, like, that was just an unbelievable moment. So what was that like for you, really actually being in it?
Like, seeing that pop fly head towards King Griffey Sr., and then see Junior over there right before the ball got to his glove, and he snatched it out the air and run back to the dugout, like laughing at his pops. Like, that was a cool ass moment. And for that moment, that game opened, that home opener versus Minnesota, and then just over there and see Griffey Jr., man, the kid, and seeing his pops over there, and us getting that picture at half court, and then us going out on the floor and having that moment. Physically, I wasn't even there. I wasn't even there.
You're floating.
I'm floating. And I can only imagine where Bronny was. I don't know. We haven't even talked about it yet. At some point we will. But I wasn't even there. Like, I might have been in the rafters. I might have been at home. My body might have been at home watching the game, watching the moment. I completely was not there. And, but damn, that was an unbelievable moment, man, for me to be able to, like, have that dream, be able to speak it into existence, for it to come to fruition, for my mom and my wife and my daughter and my youngest son to be there. It was like, I started thinking about everything from what the hell he went through less than a year before with his his cardiac arrest, man.
That came out of nowhere, seemingly.
That came out of nowhere. It was a birth defect that quite honestly, if he never played sports or he never started to become strong and run fast and all those stuff, we would never have to worry about it. But as he got stronger and things of that nature, it was just something inside his heart that was just pounding at his heart and pounding at his lungs that unfortunately we had the incident. And thankfully, you know, a lot of these kids we've been seeing a lot lately in sports, not only in basketball but in football.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we was able to catch it. And to all the families out there that haven't had the opportunity to catch their kids before it gets to the point where they're not here anymore, like to see that happen to Bronny, and for him to be able to play that same year after that happened, you know.
Hold on here. Give it 1 second.
At USC, and then less than a year later be drafted by the Lakers, and then in that fall we go out there together. So that's why I wasn't there.
Yeah.
Like we walked in together, but I was not there.
That's a dad moment. That's really cool.
Yeah,
People forget, you know, you're only one name now, LeBron, but you're still a human too. And I assume
for sure.
You know, your baby boy.
Yeah,
You know, experience dream. And then obviously that led to the thing with Stephen A. talking about him and how critical everybody has been of Bronny. And I think that the pressure that a second-generation star has on him, his whole life he's had that. It feels like he is very... I mean, he's like a 55-year-old, it looks like, the way he kind of handles it all, and I think you've even said that as well.
Yeah.
But how about his development? We had Rich Paul on the day after the draft.
Yeah, man.
Because there was a bunch of rumors about Rich Paul was telling teams, hey, you draft him, send him to Australia. So there was a lot of those types of things happening. Luckily, the Suns were involved. There was a chance they could get you, but he ends up with the Lakers with you.
Yeah.
And obviously, it's a whole storm. Like, LeBron James is bullying, blah, 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 blah. Everything, the way it always goes.
Of course.
This guy's not good enough. This guy's not this. And he does start out a little bit rough, NBA-wise. But now, I mean, just dropped 39 last night in the G League. I think he had like a double-double or something. He had his best game in the NBA last week. He's obviously getting better and better. You have to be loving every moment. And how proud of Bronny are you for what he's going through? And
listen, for me as a dad, it doesn't matter if he never scores, ever. For me as a dad, I'm just super proud of him, period, as a young man. For me, as a mentor and as a teammate of his, and that wants to see him thrive because I've seen the work he's put into the game, I am super proud of his development to where he is now. From the moment that, you know, he was drafted in June of 2025 to us being now in March of 2026, his development is skyrocketed, you know, and I just think, I had a good friend of mine, you know, who went through a cardiac arrest as well. And he told me that, you know, it took him, and he played basketball as well. And back then when it happened to him in the early 2000s, they wasn't with going back to performing. It was like, if it happened, it's over with.
We're not rolling the dice.
Yeah, we're not rolling the dice. There was not enough data on it. It's like, you have a cardiac arrest, it is over. We don't want this on our resume. They was not going back to perform to play. And he told me, he was like, man, I'm going to be honest, it took me about 2.5 years to finally get back to just normalcy. Like, my body, my mind, and, you know, he said when it happened to me, I was 23 years old. Bronny was 19 years old, you know, and he's like, it's going to take a little time, and I reason with that, but also he's doing things right now less than 2 years, you know, and it's because of his determination and his will to want to get better and his will to, like, I don't really care what y'all saying. I hear it. He did an article the other day. He was like, I hear the noise. I use it as motivation, but I also know what I'm capable of. And, you know, I've always told my kids, like, all of them, you know, they all play sports. 2 basketball players. My youngest son going to Arizona on a full ride. My daughter's
what is he, 7 foot tall, by the way? That came out of nowhere. Right? He popped up out of nowhere. Because we follow your family on the internet, obviously. We see it all. And it's like Bronny, okay, and then Little Bryce. Little Bryce with the glasses.
Right, exactly.
And then all of a sudden, one video popped up of it on and
Bryce told him,
wait a minute.
So he on his way to Arizona. My daughter's, you know, she's playing 12 and under volleyball. She just turned 10. So, like, and I just tell him, like, it doesn't matter about the noise. That's going to happen. It's only about, like, if you love it, go out and practice. If you think you want to, if you fall in love with it, you only can fall in love with the process. Don't worry about the outcome. Fall in love with the process, and that shit will take care of itself. So, super proud of Bronny, man. I know very long-winded when you talk about the kids. I just started thinking about him, but super proud of his game and where he is today. You know, starting off the G League season with, like, you know, just trying to figure it out, and now, shit, like you said last night, 39. And more than anything, when I talked to him, he was more pissed off at the technical free throw that he missed more than anything. He's like, I could have had a 40 burger. He said, I could have had a 40 ball, and I missed that damn technical free throw. So, man, the kid is he's awesome.
He's been fun to watch.
Yeah.
It is, and the story has gotten so loud, and I think that's why, listening to you talk and you say you get long-winded about the kid, it's like, well, that's why everything happened. That happened a couple weeks ago. But, like, you playing with him, obviously was a dream. You said that years ago. Bryce now, though, I mean, very possible. That is,
oh, don't do that to me.
Yeah.
All right, so you hear him talk a little bit about it. All right, so I want you guys to listen to Stephen A. Smith now. See, Stephen A. Smith did not like what LeBron had to say about that on the Pat McAfee show. And so I'm going to give you what he said after that, okay? Because he was not too happy, Stephen A. Smith, about that situation. He felt that LeBron was lying. That LeBron was lying about it. That's just how he felt. And so I'm going to give you guys that before I... Give me 1 second here, guys. I want you guys to give you that information. And let's see what Stephen A. Smith has to say, because he really felt that LeBron lied about a lot of things that he said, which to me is very interesting. Yeah, all right, here we go. Give me 1 second here. And we'll get straight on it. All right, let's listen to Stephen A. Smith, and let's hear what he has to say. Here we go. Sorry for the hold up. I'm just had to get all the stuff set up for you guys, so you guys can listen to what Stephen A. Smith has to say to LeBron James after he said what he said. Here we go.
That's straightshooterbook.com to get yourself a copy. Let's just get right into it. We all know where I need to start today, and it's with some sports talk, media news, and my good friend, Mr. LeBron James. LeBron appeared on the Pat McAfee show today and made a few headlines with his thoughts on a number of topics, including yours truly. For those of you who didn't see it, I'll play it for you right here. This is LeBron James on Pat McAfee talking about me.
Which leads, obviously, to you and Stephen A. Hey, legit, that feels like a moment that had been brewing for a long time.
He's like on a Taylor Swift tour run right now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're watching it. Yeah, we're all, oh, yeah. You're seeing it as well.
He literally, it started off with, I didn't want to address it.
Yeah, sure.
I didn't want to address it. I wasn't going to address it. But since the video came out, I feel the need to address it.
Hey, on fire. You would be not to talk about it.
Are you kidding me? If there's one person that couldn't wait to the video to drop so you could address it, it's your ass. Like, seriously, it's... And like he completely missed the whole point. The whole point. Never would I ever not allow people to talk about the sport, criticize players about what they do on the court. That is your job, to criticize or to, be in a position where, okay, if a guy's not performing, that is all part of the game. That's all part of the game. But when you take it and you get personal with it, it's my job to not only protect my damn household, but protect the players. And I think a lot of the media, including him, and I know he's gonna be happy as hell. He's gonna be smiling from ear to ear when he hears me talking about it again. Oh my God, he's gonna get home and grab some ice cream out of the fucking freezer and sit in his chair and his tighty whities on the couch.
I hope at some point you two do get a
you're right. Relax, bro. Relax.
Tighty whities comment was funny because I don't wear tighty whities. Let you figure out why that is. But moving on from that particular subject, I don't happen to consider anything that LeBron has said a laughing matter. So y'all wanted me to be serious, I'll be serious. And I know there's some people out there that's going to be like, oh, I'm milking the story for all it's worth. Well, I've been winning in television for quite some time. I don't need an incident like this to talk about LeBron, and I don't need an incident like this to get ratings. LeBron gives us plenty of ammunition to talk about him, both good and bad. So let's get that out the way first. Let's also get out the way that major props to Pat McAfee for getting that interview. There's a lot of people that's been texting me, and he's a teammate. He's on ESPN. Why would he do that? Please, y'all, be quiet. Pat McAfee did nothing wrong. Pat McAfee did his job. Pat McAfee has a show that airs on ESPN. You have an opportunity to get LeBron James, you take him. I don't give a damn who you are. This is one of the greatest players in the history of basketball. You get him. If you have an opportunity to get him, you get him. And I didn't think that Pat McAfee disrespected me or did me wrong in any way. He did his job, and I got no problems with it. My issue is with LeBron James. And I just want to say for the record, LeBron James is full of it. And in this particular instance, as it pertains to his son, he is a liar. And he went on national television today, and he lied again. You see, when he approached me while I was sitting courtside at that game against the New York Knicks, when he rolled up on me, I didn't know he was going to roll up on me. I had no idea. But when he said what he had to say, I was in no position to give any kind of retort without making a scene. It was during the third quarter. It was fresh out of a timeout. It was him walking to the basketball court. It was on national television. The cameras were rolling. And had I done something, what do y'all want me to do? You want me to act? You want this to be a reincarnation of Chris Rock and Will Smith? And let me state for the record that while we bring up that, let me assure you it wouldn't have gone down like that. I would have gotten my ass kicked. Because had that man put his hands on me, I would have immediately swung on him. Immediately. That I'm not going to tolerate. But I knew he wasn't going to do something like that. There was no fear in my mind about it. It was shock. Because as I have repeatedly stated, I was not talking about his son. I was talking about him. And whether it's the video that you saw him a couple of days later after that incident when he was talking to Richard Jefferson, my colleague at ESPN, before an ABC game in Boston when it got blown out that night by the Celtics, or in the aftermath of it, including Pat McAfee's show.
So you guys, hold on. I'm going to give you guys more. Give me a second here. I'm going to give you guys some more. Yep. Let it cook. Let me see here. All right, here's some more Stephen A. I'm going to give you a little bit more, and then I'm going to give you my closing arguments on it. And I could give you something that Shannon Sharp said. I might give you a little bit of that, and then I'm going to give you my closing arguments, all right? Let me give you a little bit more of what Stephen A. Smith's talking about.
When he talked about me getting personal and taking it beyond basketball, I'm getting to a point where I'm getting very annoyed at people who cover the game of basketball, who cover professional sports, pundits out there, including him, his inner circle, his family members, and everybody else included. When are y'all going to ask him or hold him accountable for the truth? I have not been talking about Bronny James. I have not, as LeBron James accused me of doing to my face, been shitting on his son. I clapped back at D-Wade and Melo, two brothers I love dearly, when they were talking about this, even though 99% of the stuff they said was right. It was not clapping back at his son. Your second-round pick, 55th overall, there's been plenty of second-round picks that have to work their way up through the ranks before getting to the pro level. Me pointing that out about his son and talking about how his son has been pushed to the forefront, thereby put in a line of fire for folks in the media to come at him, is not denigrating his son. It's simply highlighting what we all knew, which is that he's not ready yet. But based on what we've seen from Bronny recently, there are indications that he will be. And as LeBron James pointed out on the Pat McAfee show today, it's probably sooner than later because his growth and his maturation from just a year ago has happened by leaps and bounds. Nothing but respect and appreciation. Wishing Bronny nothing but the best. This is not about Bronny. This is about LeBron. This is about LeBron. And when you sit up there and you talk about, I love talking about, I don't need something like this to happen to talk about LeBron. He plays for the Lakers. He is LeBron James. I don't need an incident like this to talk about LeBron James. And do I use him for ratings? You're damn right. Like I use anything in the news for ratings. Because I'm a reporter and a personality and a pundit and a commentator. That's my career. Of course I talk about him. Of course I talk about anything relevant in the news. 1 minute it's LeBron, another minute it's the Cowboys. Y'all act like that's all I talk about. For 2 hours a day, 10 hours a week live, all I talk about is LeBron and the Cowboys. Are you sure? Because I can pick a whole bunch of things I've gotten in trouble for opening my mouth about. But that's neither here nor there. Because let's not get distracted from the real point at hand. The real point at hand is this. LeBron James continues to lie. He hoodwinked y'all into thinking that he was upset about criticism about his son. If your son is a professional basketball player, and I was talking about your son as a basketball player, since you just went on Pat McAfee's show and said you would never knock anybody for talking about the game, then what is it that I said? What I said was, as a father, stop. I wasn't talking about you as a father, as somebody that's home minding your business, and I just call you out because your son is in this position. That's not the father I've been talking about. That's why I've been addressing Draymond Green, who's been an avid supporter of LeBron on this matter. All I'm asking is for comprehension of the actual point. How do you mention Bronny James without bringing up how he got drafted by the Lakers? How he got drafted, period. How do you bring that up without bringing up LeBron James saying he was better than some NBA players before he got to the NBA? How do you bring that up without bringing up that LeBron James said, quote, if you want me, draft my son. At this point, it ain't about the money. I'll play for free. That was LeBron. How is it? I mean, I understand cynics. I understand this penchant to just hate the player and not the game. I understand how it's tempting to just come at me because you might dislike me or might disagree with me if you're Joe Public or Susie Public out there. I get it. But don't the truth matter?
Check it out.
So, there you go. So you heard a little bit of Stephen A. Smith on that. If you want to hear more about what he said, you can go look it up. I don't want to make this segment too long. You know what I mean? So please, go listen to more what he has to say. I'm going to end this with what Shannon Sharpe had to say about it. And then we'll take it from there. And let's see what Shannon Sharpe had to say about that whole incident. And then I'll give you my final conclusion on it. All right, guys? You know what I mean? This is very, very interesting what Shannon Sharpe had to say about it. And I just want you guys to listen to his point of view. And then we'll get it done. Here we go. Let's hear what Shannon Sharpe had to say about LeBron James and the Stephen A. Smith issue. We all know that Shannon Sharpe is a friend of LeBron, support LeBron, believe that he's the number one GOAT over Jordan, which is still crazy to me. I love Shannon Sharpe, but that's crazy. We all know that, you know, LeBron is to me, it's the third greatest player of all time. I'm not putting him over Michael Jordan. I'm showing the hell ain't putting him over Kobe Bryant. And I know he has the records over Kobe and all that stuff. People can say he's better, and that's fine. But I just can't do it. So I'm just biased about it. So at the end of the day, it's Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James for me. Some people gonna say it's LeBron James, Michael Jordan, whatever. But I don't think he's the GOAT when it comes to basketball. I think he's you know, he could be number 2 if you want to put him over Kobe. I just wouldn't do it. All right, but let's listen to what Shannon Sharpe has to say real quick.
3 weeks after confronting Stephen A. at a basketball game.
Yeah.
LeBron broke his silence on the incidents, referring to the fallout as a Taylor Swift tour run for Stephen A. The beef started over comments Stephen A. made regarding Bronny. I initially wasn't going to say anything. I wasn't going to talk about it. We didn't talk about it. Y'all didn't hear anything from me for about the incident for 3 weeks ago, but now LeBron has went on P-Mac, and we have to talk about it now. LeBron said he hasn't been too happy with how Stephen A. has reacted to the situation. He's on a Taylor Run Swift tour right now. It started off with, I didn't want to address it, but since the video came out, I feel, this is LeBron talking, I need to address it. He completely missed the whole point. The whole point, never would I allow people to talk about a sport and criticize players about what they do. This is your job to criticize, or to a position where there's a guy's not performing, that's all a part of the game. But when you take it and you get personal with it, it's not my job to not only protect my damn household, but protect the players. He's going to be smiling ear to ear when this comes out talking about it, because I know he's going to be happy as hell. Me, I wish Stephen A. would just left it alone. Once he addressed it, once it happened,
the first time,
address it. This is what happened. He came over to me, said what he said. I want to address it now, and I'm going to be done with it.
Right.
Because as my grandma used to say, boy, stirring up old ish, it still smells. So every time Stephen A. talks about it, it stirs it up again.
Yeah. And
look, I see both sides of the equation.
Yeah.
But Stephen A. just need to let it go.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to let it go. And now he's like, well, if he'd hit him, I don't think LeBron was coming to hit you. LeBron was coming to tell you, bro, just stop talking about my son. Right. He said, because you said, as a father, now you're making it personal. You're making it personal because now you're making it seem, and this is how LeBron, I think, took it. You're making it seem that I'm not a good father, that I'm not putting my son in a position to be successful. And so you're pushing this. And so LeBron took it a certain way.
All right, so you hear that? Hold on, guys. Hold on. So you see what I'm saying now? You see what I'm saying? So I believe that LeBron took it personal about him being a father to Bronny, putting him in that pressure situation. You get what I'm saying, guys? And LeBron took it like, man, I just wanted to get my son into the NBA. I'm proud of him, and I did what I had to do to help him get there, even though I think he deserved it. He earned it because he was the 55th pick. But let me give you some more of what Shannon Sharpe had to say. Shannon Sharpe had to say, and then I'm going to give you my final take in the next couple of minutes. All right, here we go. Real quick. Let's see what he has to say.
Because LeBron is a very private person.
Yes, sir.
He might have an issue with someone, and you will never know it.
You'll never know it, yeah.
You will never know it. So, and so for him to do that at a game, and it wasn't after the game, it wasn't before the game, it was the third quarter during a timeout, lets you know how upset he was at Stephen A. and what Stephen A. had been saying. But at this point in time, I understand LeBron, they asked LeBron about this, but if I'm Stephen A., hey, guys, I've already addressed that. He said what he said. I understood his point. I said what I said. Now it's time to move on. Look, it's not going to stop me from talking about LeBron James, the basketball player on the court. But the incident, I feel that we've talked about it ad nauseum. I feel we've talked about it enough, and now it's time to move on. That's what I wish Stephen A. would do. Yeah. But like he said, look, I get it. That's LeBron James. It's the biggest name in pro North American sport. And when you mention his name, good, bad, or indifferent, people will want to click and hear what you have to say about him. But the one thing I know about this guy, and I know him a little bit, I don't know him as well as a lot of people do. That man loves his family. He's going to protect his family now.
Always. And I think when you think about it, and you go back to the way things happen with LeBron actually addressing Stephen A. courtside is, well, what Stephen A. said obviously was said publicly on a public forum on TV. So he addressed it the exact same way, publicly, courtside in the middle of a game.
Yes.
Now, as a father, and like Stephen A. said, he understood where LeBron was coming from. Knowing Stephen A., I think in
the individual that he is, LeBron said what he had to say today. I'm sure Stephen A. is going to respond to that because he did. Think about it. Anytime anyone says anything to or about Stephen A., he's going to have an answer to whatever is being said. That's just him. And it's always.
So there you go right there, you guys. Let me give you my opinion on this real quick. My final statements and stuff on this. To be honest with you, I understand where LeBron coming from as a father because he was just doing what he felt that was right to help his son get into the league. And his son was struggling at the beginning, but it wasn't no surprise to me because he just had a heart situation that he could have almost died from. And I knew that it was going to take time for him to come back to really get himself into, basketball shape, to believe in himself, to know that he ain't going to fall out of nowhere. It's a scary feeling when you almost die, okay, and almost lose your life. And so LeBron, pushed him to get into the NBA, which I still think Bronny did it too because he put the work in. He went to the combine. He did everything that he needed to do to show himself that he's capable of being in the NBA. And he did it. The Lakers looked at him. They let him come out and do what they needed to do, to show his skill. Rob Pelinka and them liked him and said that, we can do something with this. And they put him in the G League, and he's developing, and now he's coming out to be great. You know what I mean? And he's going to get better and better and better. And the more older he gets and more mature he gets, I think he's going to be dominating very, very soon. I think it's going to shock a lot of people that, but he's only 20 years old now. He was 19 at that time, but now he's 20. So he still has a lot of growth. He's still young. He still has a lot of growth. As a father, our goal is to always put our kid in position to be great. You heard what he said, LeBron said. I don't care if he never even score a point. I'm just happy he's here and he's making money. I think Bronny is making $7 million playing for the Lakers. So, as a father, that's success because he doesn't really have to play because LeBron is a billionaire and his son doesn't have to play. His son is playing because he wants to play and he wants to make a name for himself and not be under his dad's shadow, but he wants to be able to make a name for himself and build for himself on Bronny James. And I think he will, and I think he's on the right path. Hopefully these two will get over this. Stephen A. Smith said they're not friends. They don't like each other. And he's okay with that. And that's fine. But at the end of the day, I can see both point of views on the situation, on Stephen A. trying to cover the game and saying how he feels. And I can see what LeBron feeling. Hey, I'm a father. You go out here criticizing me like I'm doing something wrong for putting pressure on my son. It's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball. In sports, I don't look at sports as pressure. I played sports since I was 5 years old. I don't look at sport as pressure. You could put me in pressure situations on the football field, on the basketball court, on the soccer field. You can put me in pressure anywhere that you guys call pressure, and I'm going to shine under the pressure because I don't believe it's pressure. It's excitement for me because, it's 1 second to go. Who's going to make the touchdown? Throw it to me. You get what I'm saying? Pressure. It's okay. You're gonna either catch the ball, or you're gonna shoot the shot, make it or not. We move on to the next game. You get what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I want to know you guys' opinion. What is you guys' opinion on this? How do you feel about this? All right. I try to give you all different segments from different parts of what's going on, so it can all just be on one segment of them talking about each other back and forth. LeBron James, Stephen A. Smith, and I gave you Shannon Sharp. So give me your opinions. And like I said, man, when it comes to a person being a father, he's going to protect his kids. And Stephen A. Smith have a job to do by critiquing and giving his opinion on the game of basketball and LeBron James and his son. And he has the right to put his feelings out to how he feels. LeBron got a right to put out his feelings how he feels. And hopefully they both be able to move on and just let it be and get back to business. So this is all I have. That's all I have to say. This is Mike Cooley Radio. Let's get it, because we're going to get it in, and I'm out.